darkness, my old friend. Hello. Knocking at my door again. Is this what you want?
Welcome.
And now for our feature presentation.
Well, okay, people, welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time, just welcome altogether. The video today is going to be somewhat a continuation of a series I started a few weeks ago. I started a UAP series. I got about 4 episodes out, and the assassination of Charlie Kirk took place. That kind of took precedence on my channel, and now I'm returning. This is going to be the second half of that series. I'm expecting at least another probably 3 to 4 episodes of this, and these are going to be entitled, What Do You Believe? I have a lot of problems with the UAP and UFO stigma, for good reason. It turns out when your country lies to you for the past 80 years, and they decide to kind of sort of tell you the truth, but not really, people have a hard time believing what they say. Who would have guessed it? But in this video, we're going to start off with the Y Files and AJ. I've talked about conspiracy theories, Black Project, PSYOPs. I've talked about all those in the past. But we're starting off with AJ because I want you to get a basic understanding of how they conduct a PSYOP. I want you to see the example he's going to give. That way, when we move forward in these videos, you can make your own decision. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Is it bullshit? Or you have no idea? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm all over the place when it comes to this. There's so much misinformation, disinformation, lies, mixed in with truth. It's just, man, years upon years, cases upon cases. You're going to get some of my commentary when we cross the points that I think's valid or not and give you my thoughts on it. Okay, you know what? I tell you what, we'll make these videos and we'll see where we're at after 4 videos, okay? I'll explain my train of thought as we go. You can agree, disagree, or leave comments. That's fine. I enjoy chopping it up. I'll reply to all comments. Let's jump into it, guys.
Let me step outside the script for just a minute. For a couple of years, I've been wanting to do an episode on PSYOPs and the techniques to detect them. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about something called the NCI Engineered Reality Scoring System. Now, this is a 20-question test designed to detect manipulation. The guy who built it, Chase Hughes, spent 2 decades training military and intelligence personnel. Navy SEALs, CIA, FBI. This guy literally trains the people who run PSYOPs for a living. Now, I followed his work for years, and his system is so simple, but so brutally effective, it completely changed the way I consume news. Now, when creators say, this is the video they don't want you to see, it's usually clickbait, and I should know because I've done it. But this truly is information that the people in power don't want you to know. This is the secret sauce, the 11 herbs and spices. So the NCI test, what is this thing? Well, NCI stands for Narrative Credibility Index, and Chase Hughes studied hundreds of PSYOPs, government propaganda, corporate lies, social media manipulation, all of it. And he found 20 patterns that appear consistently in every PSYOP. Things like timing, emotional manipulation, tribalism, specific messaging. 20 questions, score each 1 through 5. Total above 70, that's a PSYOP. Below 40, probably legit. Between 40 and 70, that's the most dangerous of all because that's a PSYOP based around the truth, but with an agenda. And that agenda is never to help you. Okay, that's the scoring system to keep in mind, 0 to 100. Here we go, October 10th, 1990. Now, fossils like me will remember this. A 15-year-old Kuwaiti girl named Maria testified before Congress. She was volunteering at a hospital when Iraqi soldiers stormed in.
The second week after an invasion, I volunteered at the Al-Adan hospital with 12 other women. While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor. It was horrifying. I could not help but think of my nephew, who, if born premature, might have died that day as well. The Iraqis have destroyed everything in Kuwait. They stripped the supermarkets of food, the pharmacies of medicine, the factories of medical supplies, ransacked their houses, and tortured neighbors and friends.
Now, Congress demanded action. Senators called for war. And a few months later, the United States was at war with Iraq. So, let's run the test on that story. Timing, 5 out of 5. Her testimony landed exactly when the Bush administration needed public support for a war that nobody wanted. Emotional manipulation, 5 out of 5. It doesn't get more emotional than dead babies. That's psychological napalm. Uniform messaging, 5 out of 5. Every news outlet told the story the same way, with the same language, same talking points. There was no independent reporting. Missing information, 5 out of 5. There were no other witnesses, no follow-up interviews, no verification allowed. Authority pressure, 5 out of 5. This was congressional testimony, not some rumor on Usenet.
Did you just say Usenet?
It was 1990. A lot of the internet in the 80s and 90s was Usenet. You know, news groups.
No. I know what Usenet is. Let me ask you 2 questions,
Go ahead.
1, were you on the internet before 1990?
Yes.
2, could you find a date for prom?
No.
Uh-huh.
Now, we could run through all 20 questions for this, but you can already see the pattern. The final score was 88 out of 100. That's an overwhelming sign of a psyop, and that's exactly what it was, though we didn't know it at the time. 10 years later, the truth came out. Naria was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador. There were no dead babies. She was never at the hospital.
It was all part of a campaign to turn Saddam Hussein, at least in the public consciousness, into Adolf Hitler. And the feeling was that they couldn't sell the Gulf War without this. In other words, they had to cheat to win.
The NCI system predicted the lie a decade before anyone admitted to it. Over 100 Americans dead, 500 wounded, 30,000 Iraqis killed, and a bill to U.S. taxpayers of $1.3 trillion. Though it's closer to $1.9 trillion if you factor in the interest we had to pay to borrow the money to fight a war based on a lie. But where did the lie come from? A company that few Americans have ever heard of, but every politician and business person knows. The first Iraq War was the product of the PR agency Hill and Knowlton. And when you look into the history of Hill and Knowlton, you know what you find? A whole lot of dollars and a whole lot of death.
Well, okay. You gotta love the Why Files, man. That was a great episode. Sorry I only gave you guys about 5 minutes of it. You need to check his channel out. I love his channel. I spend hours listening to his content. He's just, at least to me, he seems as honest as he can be, or he comes across as honest as he can be. I've seen a lot of interviews he's done with Joe Rogan, so on and so forth. And in this day and age, I'm impressed by that. You know, at least they hit it well in the 1990s. This video is not for my politics. I'm simply saying that in 1990, they hit it. In 2025, they just put it out in the open. Make the entire country believe that Trump's a Nazi now. And people still believe it. Let's jump into first episode.
To be clear, non-human intelligence has been actively conducting ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance of some of our most sensitive U.S. military facilities and nuclear sites.
They have both deactivated and activated nuclear weapons with both the United States and Russia.
The nuclear weapons that were activated in Russia were pointed at us. And from that perspective, the stakes really could not be any higher.
This is an emerging and disruptive threat for the United States and truly a national security concern.
And by the way, this isn't just happening here in the United States. This is happening all over the world, and it's occurring with greater frequency.
We couldn't get the leadership in the Pentagon to look at the actual scientific data that show that there is a strong national security threat.
They were more worried about the impact on their reputation than they were about the safety of the nation.
On top of that, we were shocked to find we were getting pushback from people in the Pentagon based on their religious beliefs.
There really were religious fundamentalist extremists within the Pentagon that had a severe adversity to this topic.
These are national security experts, senior members of the national intelligence community who are putting their religion above national security.
A senior DOD official actually stopped me in the hallways in the Pentagon and told me that we were doing the devil's work.
I had to deal with people who were senior to me who were telling me in their world that these are demons and we are poking demons and messing in Satan's world and all these other things that to me, I was like, I can't believe this is coming out of your mouth. I'm briefing about an advanced aerospace vehicle that has been detected on multiple sensors that's absolutely there, and you're telling me that you think these are demons and that we shouldn't even look at them and study them. My mind was blown.
Okay, what a fascinating place to start our discussion. I have followed this topic probably for 20 years, just to mention a few of the opinions that are out there right now. Some people believe that the these beings and craft have cities in our ocean. Some say they've been on our planet since we've been on this planet. Somehow, some way, these were time travelers. Maybe they're part of our race in the future, X amount of years. And then there's what he just mentioned, biblical, historical demons. That's kind of where I'm leaning on the fence right now. I never used to say that. These things go back as long as we have written, recorded history. This encompasses the entire world. Not one country, not one continent, the entire planet. Like I said earlier, people are entitled to their own opinion. This is where I'm leaning towards. It's more spiritual, biblical. The case they're making here is that it's ridiculous for us to think that. They're entitled to their opinion. But by them saying that they have numerous amounts of sightings confirmed on radar, on sonar, from NORAD, for them to just be biblical demons makes no sense. That's what they're saying. And you're entitled to your opinion. But just because you can track it and you can see it through 3 or 4 different various types of upgraded communication and equipment, you're going to hear that there's multiple species of these things that's visited. I get it. I got it. So to come at it from a biblical and religious point of view, some people just can't fathom. And it don't make any sense. Why would demons have to use craft that was light years ahead of us in order to move around? That just don't make any sense. You know, demons are demons. If it's spiritual, they're spiritual. Why would they need spaceships? Okay, I get it. I can see somebody trying to make that argument. And that may very well be the truth, guys. Nobody knows. That's why we're all discussing it right now. But I tell you what, why I don't rule my theory out, and the people who are on the religious biblical side could come down to these simple, everybody's seen The Usual Suspects, right? If not, it could come down to one simple quote. And Kevin Spacey can't say it any better.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
So if that would be the case, then it would make perfect sense for them to be using vehicles. That would project the exact response that they're given right here. It's just going to be dismissed. So yeah, that's very clever in my opinion. That can go either way. Moving on.
While we were trying to overcome all of these hurdles, we discovered another deeply hidden and much larger UAP program.
This program was so sensitive that it was withheld from the Secretary of Defense, Congress, and even the President of the United States. This program is referred to as the Legacy Program. This program had been capturing, retrieving, and reverse engineering UAPs since at least 1947. On numerous occasions, these retrievals included the bodies of non-humans, some sort of intelligent being that is not human.
Put yourself in my shoes. I'm conducting investigations of ongoing UAP activity, and there's this legacy program that has at least 80 years of information that could help us better understand this problem and protect national security, and they refuse to give it to us.
CNN has learned the Pentagon had a secretive program to research UFOs.
The existence of a secret government program to investigate UFO sightings.
A recent report by the New York Times unveiled the existence of a real-life X-Files department. Their secret government program to investigate mysterious flying objects.
This seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime.
Anyway, so that's going to be the end of the video, guys. You can be other places, watching other people do other things, but you're here checking me out, watching this video, and I appreciate that. Hope you guys come back, and I will see you next time.
You see, this is just what I've been talking about. I can't even relate to you guys anymore because you're too immature. What? I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here.
You don't know what you're talking about, fat ass.
No. Me, meow. You guys, meow. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
All this talk of getting old is getting me down my